You were elected on a promise to get Brexit done. When are MPs going to get the chance to vote on that Brexit deal?
Well, as you mentioned, we're going to have a Queen's speech next week, which will lay out the programme of government. And the top priority, you're absolutely right, is making sure that we can leave the European Union by January the 31st. So we'll be bringing forward a withdrawal agreement bill to make sure that we can honour that date. But also in the Queen's speech, we'll be outlining how it is that we will meet the priorities that the public have, more investment in the NHS, as you say, and also making sure that we level up economic opportunity across the United Kingdom.
I'm keen to get more detail of the Queen's speech, but what exactly is the date that the withdrawal agreement is going to be brought back? Will it be before Christmas?
Well, I won't get into speculation about the precise date for precise pieces of legislation, but what I can absolutely confirm is that we'll have an opportunity to vote on the withdrawal agreement bill in relatively short order, and then we will make sure...
Before Christmas?
Then we will make sure that it passes before January the 31st.
Before Christmas?
Well, again, I do not want to preempt the announcements that there will be in the Queen's speech entirely.
Okay, I mean, the reason that the date is important is because time's running out, isn't it? If you want to actually get this trade agreement sorted by the end of 2020, the trade deal, we know, of course, the divorce deal in some ways is just the first part of the process of getting Brexit done. How long could that trade negotiation take?
It will be concluded next year. We'll be in a position, as I say, to leave the European Union before the 31st of January of next year, and then we'll have concluded our conversations with the EU about the new framework of free trade and friendly cooperation that we will have with them by the end of next year.
No ifs, no buts? Is this going to be another broken promise?
Nope. One of the things about this general election is that we saw that those who had broken their promise, those who had said that they stood on manifestos which honoured the referendum mandate, and then when they were elected to the House of Commons, tried to undermine that referendum mandate, those Labour politicians and other politicians, they were defeated.
Hang on a minute. Boris Johnson also broke his promise that he would be taking us out of the EU by the 31st of October. No ifs, no buts, do or die. That's a pretty big promise too.
We know why that happened. It was because MPs in Parliament conspired against the Prime Minister and also fought against the referendum mandate that they promised to honour. The public clearly recognised that the Prime Minister was and is determined to honour that referendum mandate. And of course, one of the reasons why people voted for the Prime Minister is they did not want the chaos of another hung Parliament in which politicians put their own manoeuvring ahead of delivering on the people's priorities.
You can see why there is a degree of scepticism over your promises this time, that the trade agreement will be done by the end of next year, though. I mean, we can just have a look at something that Michel Barnier, the chief Brexit negotiator, said in a leaked recording this week. He said it's unrealistic that a global negotiation can be done in 11 months, so we can't do it all. That sounds pretty emphatic.
Yes, but Michel Barnier's view is a view that is different from that of other European politicians. Simon Coveney, who's the Irish foreign minister, their deputy prime minister, someone who's been intimately involved in these negotiations.
Well, Michel Barnier is the one who's leading negotiation from the EU. You can't get much more involved than that.
Simon Coveney takes a different view. As do a number of other European politicians. Earlier today on Sky News, we heard from Peter Lilly, the Secretary of State who concluded many trade negotiations when he was Secretary of State at the Department of Trade and Industry. And he made it clear that we start from a strong position. There was scepticism, including from Michel Barnier, that we would be able to change the withdrawal agreement before this election. The Prime Minister, in short order, changed the withdrawal agreement, which people said was impossible, and ditched the backstop, which people said was also going to be beyond anyone's grasp. The speed and effectiveness with which the Prime Minister negotiated or renegotiated the withdrawal agreement, I think demonstrates his determination, our government's determination, to ensure that we not just leave the European Union by January the 31st, but we also conclude the remaining arrangements by the end of 2020.
You and I both know there's a big difference between changing part of the withdrawal agreement, much of which had been negotiated before, and getting an entirely new trade deal organised in 11 months.
Quite a lot of the detail that we need to negotiate is already laid out in the political declaration. So a lot of work has been done, and as a number of people have pointed out, there are areas where the European Union's interests and the United Kingdom's interests are already closely aligned. So I'm confident that we will be able not just to leave the EU on the 31st of January, but also to conclude all the details of a new relationship in short order.
Okay,